This is not a video review on the HP Z VR backpack. It's not a review on that. This is not a review on the 360 Labs. What was this? This is the Samsung Odyssey with the 360 Labs sticker on it. We did not borrow it. Maybe we did. This is not a review on any of this. Guys, I just want to talk a little bit about these backpacks because companies are spending a lot of money. I mean, look at this industrial design. About 25 pounds, I think it's 12, 13 kilos. Yeah, it's going to be a little heavy on your back. You're wearing a full-on computer. Now, this one's a little different, and I wanted to take a look at this one in particular because it's not exactly designed for gaming. The application is going to be a little outside of gaming because I think a lot of people who are gaming on these things are probably going to be tethered to their computer or tethered to some box of knowledge somewhere in their house. Maybe they're moving around their room a little bit. I don't see much application for this outside of, for the gaming application outside of like maybe a VR cafe or something like that. But wearing this thing around for a long time with the batteries and stuff, I just don't know. So there must be something else you can do with it. So instead of putting a GTX 1070 or 1080 in here, you've got a Quadro P5200. And with that, you're going to be able to do a lot more when it comes to productivity. I'm talking like, 3D Studio Max and Maya. I'm talking AutoCAD. I'm talking, programs like Unreal Engine, Unity, even CryEngine, stuff like that. You'll be able to get in there and mess around. So if you're a developer or, someone who works with 3D and you like the ability to run around with your VR headset and then, create your graphics that way, this could be interesting, maybe. I still feel like a lot of you guys are going to be tethered to your desk. So I guess what I'm trying to say here with this is I'm not sure how many people are going to be using it unless we have some new ideas that are a little outside of the box. And we're going to go look for some of those. First off, I'll just cover a few more things with this. One thing I think is really cool is it comes with a sleek dock. So when you get home, you can use this as a desktop. And it's very capable, 32 gigabytes of RAM maximum. You've got M.2 on the inside. It's got an Intel i7 G Pro processor. So it's really going to be an adequate desktop machine for most of you guys, and you can game on it. Hell yeah, we gamed through virtual reality on there and had a little fun with that. It works with some of the modern games, and if you just want to play games on your monitor, well, it's got all the ports you need. You've got everything from Thunderbolt, USB 3, 3.1. You got HDMI. You've got DisplayPort. Come off there, you goddamn heathen. There we go. Look at that. It's just like you said, Super Nintendo, like a big fat cartridge. With this base station, you got a 340 watt power supply. Just plug it up to a couple of monitors, and now it's your home PC. Or plug it up to a monitor and your VR headset, and you're good to go. This thing is really nice. It's a little pricey, but as far as our experience goes, we needed to hook this thing up to a monitor to get it to work. They mentioned the HTC Vive a lot, so maybe the Odyssey is not the right thing to use if you want to be able to run around with this thing on your back. I kind of still see these things as a lot of investment for something that's kind of a gimmick, but there's got to be somebody else who can figure this out. Let's go hit the town and see what we can find. Yeah, you can play games with this thing, and you can play more games with this thing, and you can play more games with it, but there's not a lot of games out for it just yet, and it feels like more of a novelty. So I wanted to see what else could be done with this technology. We headed over to the pros at 360 Labs to see what they are doing with this.
What are you working on?
Working on a 360-degree VR video. So we make 360-degree videos for virtual reality applications. It is primarily our focus, although we do focus quite a bit on 360-degree photos, gigapixel photos, virtual tours, but primarily providing content for VR headsets.
Nice. And you guys were like one of the first groups kind of doing it, right?
We were. We like to say that we started this with duct tape and a bunch of GoPros and a little bit of math, right? Putting 360-degree videos together has always been an art form that it sort of follows with 100 years of photographic tradition of taking two images side by side and stitching them together, whether that's with Scotch tape or back in the 90s or today with some really advanced stitching software. Some of these new cameras, this is the Zcam S1 Pro, sort of been our workhorse over the last year. They have the capability of live streaming with enough bandwidth, whether that's on a hard connection or on something like 5G into the future. If we can get enough bandwidth, then we can actually stream a stitched 360-degree spherical video live directly to Facebook, which is fantastic. Now, what are the user cases, right? Obviously, put it on stage at a concert, and then everybody gets to be on stage via Facebook on the concert. That's a spectacular user case. But what if you wanted to go out into the woods and bring a live stream 360-degree video of the Eagle Creek fire, which is sort of the application I've been thinking about for this backpack, that if we had 5G connected Wi-Fi, we could actually stream a 360-degree video that I was presenting on location in a remote location. I would have VR on board via the backpack. I would actually be able to participate in Facebook Spaces, the VR application that would allow me to invite other folks in VR to join me in the woods. But then if they wanted to see something like lift up a rock, I could physically walk over there and lift up a rock. I could actually be the physical touch point for various people in a VR 360 video. And we could experience it together, but they would actually have someone there in real life. Camera itself doesn't do any of the stitching, so you can actually see my SD card slots here. There's two more on the other side, one for each sensor. So I'm recording separate video files, and then I need to send that to a stitching backpack that's going to have a really killer GPU to run that stitching software in real time for a live stitch. So that's where the HP backpack would come into.
You were mentioning Facebook. Will it also work with YouTube and other platforms?
Yeah, it should work with YouTube. You can certainly stream live on YouTube. In fact, YouTube was able to pull it off before Facebook was. You know, I've always wanted to do a live stream, say from the bottom of the Grand Canyon, right? Maybe not on board a whitewater raft, but from a location in the wilderness like this, to be able to bring people there live and actually see something happening would be pretty cool.
So what's the craziest shot you've ever pulled off?
The craziest shot we've ever pulled off at 360 Labs. I mean, you know, there's been these live concerts, strapping cameras to cows. That was one of the more interesting shots, but really, yeah, right. Google Cow View. Really, the craziest shot I think that we got over the last year was having a rescue swimmer with the United States Coast Guard jump out of a helicopter with one of our cameras on board. Another MSRT raid jumping out of a helicopter and fast roping down, and so they spin down the rope as they go. It's really not a great VR shot, so what we want to do is stabilize that so that you just see his head and his body spinning, but we try to keep the world as smooth as straight as possible. So we can actually do that through our stabilization techniques with 360-degree spherical video.
So we had to give all the stuff we borrowed from 360 Labs back, but they did give me some interesting ideas, and they hope gave you guys some interesting ideas of things that you can do outside of just the normal application with this. I want to know how many of you guys would use something like this, and I want to know what you would use it for. Because really, I still see these things as kind of an interesting idea, but not a lot of use cases, and there's not a lot of people who are going to want to use this thing. It's nice that there's you know, a little bit of space in the backpack so it doesn't like make your back all sweaty and stuff. It's a nice design. It looks great. The batteries are interesting. The way they hot swap and everything, they click in. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Be sure to grab one of these t-shirts. God, this thing feels so good. I wish people could come and feel it, but not touch me. I don't want to be touched, but I want them to feel my shirt, so I'll make an exception. Get one of these two while you're on the store, guys. See you later.